Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the film Together. Fun fact, Dave Franco and Alison Brie are actually married in real life. Fortunately for them, they are not fused together. This movie came out in 2025 and stars Alison Brie and Dave Franco and was directed by Michael Shanks. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Together follows a couple, Millie and Tim, who move to the countryside after Millie gets a new job. Their relationship is strained due to various reasons, and they come to find out that the town that they moved to has some weird stuff going on that may force them to be bonded forever. Together is a supernatural body horror film. It has similar vibes to Bring Her Back, The Outsider, or Long Legs. To be honest, I wasn't going to see this movie because of the weird eye poster, but I saw an early screening available and said, why not? The movie has an interesting premise and made me squirm in my seat with how painful some of the scenes were. The leads were great and really had me invested in seeing what they would learn about the situation that they were in and what the outcome would be. The premise itself is spooky, being fused with another person, and then they add in this cult backstory and make it even more creepy. The relationship between the two is strained because of a lack of sex, people thinking he's a loser, and his unresolved trauma from his dad's death and his mom's mental breakdown after. Millie seems to have her stuff together because she has a stable job, while Tim is a struggling artist in his 30s who is still holding on to this dream. There is a lot of love there, and a good therapy session would fix some of the problems, but they move to the countryside instead, which increases the tension more, which I feel is because there are fewer distractions. After they have this hike that leads them into this creepy cave that they shouldn't have gone on in the first place, where Tim drinks this water, weird stuff starts happening to Tim first, then Millie, where they are drawn to each other and their body tries to bond, which will have you stressed watching these scenes where they're just forced to be near each other. I love the location being in the countryside, so secluded, and having these weird bells connect to the cave and this cult. Isolated areas in horror movies really add to the creepiness of the story. The bells were a nice visual cue that someone was a part of the cult that had the ritual of combining people, which Tim and Millie were now accidentally caught up in. I love how her coworker said that everyone left after the church collapsed, which was a lie because he was part of it and didn't want to say anything, and we find out later when we see a video of it playing in his house. There was a missing couple that was brought up in the beginning, which gave us some insight into what might happen when people fight, the bonding, because we later see them in the movie and they're kind of like a blob, which is really creepy. The small backstory helped give some context, but also had me wanting to learn more about the history of whatever was in this cave. The secluded location typically means fewer people would ask questions, and the lack of people around is always something in horror movies that will be scary and unsettling. The infection or possession being in the blood was so cool to see in this film. It was interesting to see how that pulled people together and how that was the reason that they could not fight it. Music obviously plays a big part in film, and the score is great, but one small thing they included as an Easter egg was the mention of Two Become One by the Spice Girls in the beginning as a one-off kind of comment, only for that to be what was playing when they fused. I love that they included that song, which felt very fitting, seeing how the film concluded. My favorite part of this movie was the hallway scene when they were trying to stay in separate rooms. The scene was beautifully choreographed and had me on the edge of my seat and was a great visual representation of how hard it is to fight this thing. Blood runs through the entire body, so seeing that this thing is in the blood, there is only so much you can do. They realize that muscle relaxers can help, but it doesn't last forever. This scene did make me wonder if anyone had unsuccessfully gotten rid of it because it seemed impossible. Together is a horror movie that really shows how scary it would be to not be able to control your own body and possibly be stuck together against your own will. The film has some scenes that will have you feeling queasy, but still wanting to see the outcome. The cast was amazing as well as showing the true horror of not being able to control your own actions. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.